What's up, everyone? How are we all doing today? So my very first installment of the Controller Wars, my very first part, and if you have not seen the introduction video, I'll have an annotation somewhere. Go ahead, click that, I'll show you the introduction and basically what the Controller Wars is. So I'm going to basically start off the Controller Wars with the Xbox 360 controller against the Nintendo Wii controller. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get this video started off with. Alright, so here's the Xbox 360 controller. It's definitely one of the more modern controllers, definitely compared to the Wii. So you have your standard analog sticks right here. And this right analog stick, for some reason, feels kind of more like an oval shape. Like when you go down here, it feels a little bit more deeper than it should be. And then you have your left analog stick. This feels like a complete circle, to be honest with you. I have no problem with this. And of course, this not really a big problem whatsoever. You have your standard face buttons, A, X, B, Y, and B. And you have your standard D-pad, of course. And then you have your start, back. And this is in all three controllers, actually. What this will do is that you can actually turn on your system using this. And you can also, while your system is on, you can also turn it off using this. Or you can also, like, sign out or sign in. Or you can go to your dashboard. But I'm pretty sure all three of the controllers actually do feature that. You also have your headset jack actually right here, which you use for Xbox Live. You do get the silver membership of Xbox Live for free, and you also get the gold membership, which is like $50 a year. It's a pretty good deal, to be honest with you. So that's where you plug in your headset, and some Xboxes do actually come with a headset. So definitely a con I kind of have with that is that actually when I actually started plugging in my headset and using my headset with that, I found out that I actually ended up dropping my controller a little bit more, but I think that might just be me for some reason. So I actually ended up switching to a wireless headset. Then you have your battery pack right here, which is like this, and it's kind of a little bit confusing at first. Obviously, the batteries don't come in with it, but you would think by first instinct that the batteries would go in here, but actually the batteries go in here, but that's no big problem at all. It's to be honest with you, this controller has little problems more compared to a big problem. So the design is really nice. You also have this nice gray finish right here. And also the design is figured to actually so your fingers actually go back here. Most controllers back then would have a design so that your fingers would come up to here. But this controller actually has the design so your fingers will come down here instead of here. And your back buttons right here are RB, which stands for right bumper, LB, which stands for left bumper, RT and LT, which stand for right trigger and left trigger. And this is basically all that the Xbox 360 controller is. Also, you do have, I think this is for a memory card, I'm not sure whatsoever, and this is to actually sync into your system, so I'll read it then. So this is basically all the Xbox 360 controller is. Now I'm going to show you how the Wii Remote will work. Alright, so here's the Wii controller. It is definitely a lot different from your standard controller, I will have to admit that, due to the fact that the Wii uses a sensing corporization. So basically what that means is that you have your built-in sensor right here, and if you own a Wii, you know that with the Wii you get a different type of sensor thing, and you put that on top of your television set, and then it'll basically sense this from that if you're playing a motion game. So basically here's the front right here. You have your power on and off button, which is right here, and then you have your D-pad, and then you have your A button, and this is something that the Wii controller does lack of, its buttons. And your controls basically are A, B, that's it. And then you have your plus and minus button. What that does is that they'll increase the volume and decrease the volume of your speakers. That's definitely something that is different from the Xbox 360 controller and has over it, is that it has a built-in speaker. This does not mean that every single cutscene or everything you see on your television set will be coming through your built-in speaker. Just some things will be coming through your built-in speaker. And the plus and minus, of course, are just for the speaker, not your television set. And then you also have your home button, which can take you home, just more examply like the Xbox 360 controller, where you have the X right there. And then you have your 1 and 2, and those are customization options you get with different types of games and everything. The Wii controller does go up to 4 remotes, and that's something that's kind of a downside. Like I mentioned before, you do have a lack of buttons, but that's where the nunchuck actually comes in. So here's your nunchuck right here. I'm not sure if it'll focus right, so let me actually grab the cord. It's actually a pretty long cord. Let me plug this into my Wii Remote, my bad. Alright, So here it is, here's your nunchuck. And the nunchuck is mostly used for walking in certain games if you're using your remote. I do own a game which is called Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and it requires you to walk. In most walking games, you'll just use your nunchuck, and then you'll use this for buttons. On your nunchuck, this is basically all you have, and you also have two buttons right here. Your buttons are Z and C. My lighting's a little bit too bright for that to actually show up, but those are Z and C, and those are some bonus buttons you get. So you have A, and then you have B on your back of your remote. And then you also have 1 and 2, which games don't really use that much. And then you have your C and Z if you have your nunchuck in games, which a lot of games do have. So basically, totally you have 4 buttons, and with the 4 buttons, those are actually similar to your Xbox 360 controller, which you have 4 buttons on. So it's basically all the Wii Remote is with the nunchuck. And now I'm going to basically call my final verdict, my final thoughts, the similarities, everything else, and which basically won this battle. Alright, so now I'm going to be talking about the similarities about both controllers, then I'm going to be talking about the biggest con about each controller, and then I'm going to be talking about which one won, basically my final verdict. So the similarities are that both can go up to 4 at the same time. It's going to have 4 Wii remotes going on your Wii console at the same time, and you can also have 4 Xbox 360 controllers going at the same time. They both are wireless, which is really nice to be honest with you, excluding the nunchuck, of course, because you plug that into your Wii. They both can go up to 30 feet wireless. And those are basically all of the similarities, or at least the major similarities. Of course, they both have D-pads, of course, and they both do take batteries. I actually forgot to show you how the batteries go in on the Wii. Here's how the batteries will go in. There you go. That's how the batteries go in. So now the biggest con I have about each controller. The biggest con I didn't mention about the Wii Remote, of course, is because I was just going to make that part too long. So the biggest con I have about the Xbox 360 controller is that it is definitely more on the more heavier side. It's not like heavy, but it's just kind of heavy for a controller. So the biggest con I have about the Wii Remote, this is the worst con you can have in a controller. It's this strap right here. This strap is horrible. Nintendo, if you can sell these straps separate, or like sell more separate, that would be awesome, because these straps, they stink, to be honest with you. What you do is that you put these on your wrist, and then you tighten it using this. And then when you tighten it, what happens is that when you use it a lot, they come loose. And then it's like this, and then say if you're just playing it really fast, your Wii Remote will come loose, it will fall off your hands, and it probably will break your television set. And I mean, this is like a $30 controller, and you're risking $30 for, say, a $700 television or a $1,000 television, whatever your television set is. So that is the worst kind you can find in a controller, is that it will break your television. So my final verdict, of course, I have to go with the Xbox 360 controller. No doubt in my mind. If you can fix this strap right here, then I could easily go with the Wii Remote. No doubt in my mind. It is a little bit more longer. It is a little bit more lighter. But, I mean, this Xbox 360 controller, on a scale of 1 to 10, is basically a 9 compared to the Wii Remote. I mean, this strap, I can't stop issuing about it. It's just horrible, to be honest with you. And that's basically all I can show you right now. And in the next battle of the controller wars, I will be featuring the Nintendo Wii Remote against the Sony PlayStation 3 Remote, which I have over there. So for exclusive content, you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/thetechnerd. All the links will be in the more info section. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.